many of our favorites to watch. Oh look, now they're being bashed. I guess that's what we should expect on the Bullied Nostalgia Podcast.
Some of us are more awake than others.
Like, Chance is just in a coma.
You might keep it up, Chance. This is like the Batman episode all over again.
Yeah.
You're on a comfortable couch. Can someone like poke him with knives or something? That will keep him awake.
Get him to
That's
stand
called
up.
stabbing.
Yeah.
Okay. Technical
Someone
terms
do
over here.
stab.
Can someone stab him, please? Okay. Well, let's do this thing. Welcome, everyone, to our Christmas episode of Bullied Nostalgia. This episode, I'm joined by Kylan,
Hi.
Chance.
Woohoo!
Oh, I was honestly expecting him to be asleep. And John.
Hello!
But we're also a very full call today, a very full table. We're joined by Kristin,
Hello.
Emily,
Hello.
and Emma.
Hi.
Yeah, this episode is going to be a little bit different than we're used to. Not only do we have double the number of people hanging out with us.
Half the watch time on the movie.
That's right. The movie we watched was quite short, but I'm thinking that we'll make up for it with many voices. Today's episode is on the Christmas classic, Aliens First Christmas.
Childhood favorite.
Childhood favorite. Chances are no one in the world has heard of this movie, and
There's a good reason for it.
that's why we're doing this big group. Many years ago, John and I were blessed with this movie growing up, and when Kristin and I were talking one day, I found out that her family also had this movie. So in one of the many ways that our families have been intertwined over the years, turns out also this phenomenal work of animation that is The Aliens First Christmas. Before we get into our normal stuff, a quick reminder that this podcast is a place where we revisit our childhoods and maybe make fun of them a little bit. And you have recommendations or suggestions on the future of our podcast, feel free to hit us up at bulliedpod@gmail.com. And with that, Chance, we need to wake you up so that you can provide a summary of what Aliens First Christmas is.
I would give a summary. However, the opening theme song of this TV show does a delightful job where it crams 3 paragraphs of exposition into about 20 seconds.
So what you're telling us is that you're going to sing the introduction.
Oh boy, I don't have the vocal capabilities for such a masterpiece. No, Aliens First Christmas is a story about 3 human beings who go to live on a different planet. And because of that, they're weird and nobody likes them. And now they're trying to celebrate Christmas on the new planet, which we learned is called Bologna, I guess. The characters starring it are Fran, Roger, and Bobby. Those are the humans. And then an alien couple who live next door to them, Chalek and Mavel, yeah. And everything goes wrong. And that's the movie, pretty
Or
much.
everything goes right.
Yeah, Mr. Grinch over here, you big Scrooge. It's about rediscovering that Christmas isn't about gifts or decorations. It's about time with loved ones or creatures
aliens.
from the other side of the universe that you've never met before. So yeah, the Aliens First Christmas kind of bumbles up the theme a little bit. But there's a fun juxtaposition that happens here. Because it's humans going to live on another planet, the humans are the aliens in most of the dialogue. And so that's kind of fun. But yes, what Chance is saying is these humans move to another planet and they try and teach the beings of that planet the traditions of Christmas. and it doesn't go according to plan.
I hated this movie, and I had to watch it twice.
Why did you have to watch it twice?
I don't know, John.
I made him watch it today.
Oh,
Yeah, Kristin invited him to watch alongside.
Forcefully invited.
Yeah, so I'll get us started. I'll talk a little bit about what this movie is. Actually, no. For people who are curious, this is essentially a Hanna-Barbera cartoon that is not made by Hanna-Barbera. It feels like a Jetsons and Flintstones mashup.
But worse.
and that's what Emma said when she first laid eyes on it. It's like, are we watching the Jetsons?
And the answer is no. So it feels like this is a B-grade Jetsons show. It was a second attempt at a pilot for a TV show. Essentially, two guys pitched a TV show called Aliens Next Door, and they made a pilot 22-minute episode, and they shopped it around, and nobody picked it up. They already had the assets, they already had most of the designs done and stuff like that, so they did a follow-up attempt, this Aliens First Christmas.
And it uses the same theme song, just with the last words changed?
Exactly. It is the exact same theme song, which is why it has so much exposition. And the only difference is, in the original show, it's the Aliens Next Door at the end, and now it's changed to Aliens First Christmas. So it's really just
really
the same.
Funkily thrown in.
Yeah, they just did the same thing over again, and they tried to shop it around again. Once again, it didn't get picked up.
Which I find shocking, really.
Really?
Got
Very
picked
shocking.
up by our family.
Well, and that's the thing, is somehow, even though the TV show never got picked up, this became one of those solo Christmas specials that was then sold on VHS that both of our families ended up with.
Well, and I just wonder, I mean, how many families have we asked, have you seen Aliens First Christmas?
Yeah, maybe this is in every family.
Yeah.
I own a DVD of this movie somewhere in my house. So
Yeah, but that might have something to do with me.
that's possible. Well, like, that begs the question, how did this movie get to DVD?
Yeah, I don't know if I believe you. I should look that up right now. Was this movie ever on DVD?
Chance, we did have VHS tapes.
I know we do that, but I just want to mention something really quick.
It is
Oh,
available on
okay.
DVD.
It is?
Yeah.
Told you I own this movie. We're probably going to glance over it because I doubt we'll be talking much about the humans' lives before this show started. But something I want to talk about is in the show, it shows a picture of their family in the theme song, and they have a dog. And then in the Christmas special, they no longer have said dog.
Instead,
So
there's an alien dog.
it's just an alien dog now. So John made the very compelling argument that the alien dog consumed the family's previous beloved pet and assimilated and replaced it.
I never made it required viewing for anyone on this call, but I did watch Aliens Next Door
Ooh.
so that I could get a real sense of what this show was.
Any new garbage for us?
Don't worry, we watched it too.
You guys did too!
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like it gave you much needed context?
I feel like it made everything more confusing.
No, it explained how they could speak the same language as the aliens. It really explained a lot.
Emma?
Like,
That's all it
at the
explains.
like, I love it here. We're so comfortable here. Like, oh, this bubble makes me feel at home. And then in the Christmas one, every time he gets into the bubble, he's screaming his head off. And they're like, I hate it here. And I'm just like, how did we get here?
Christmas is a very stressful time of year.
And I think it also leads to that point that Roger is a very hateful man in general.
Yeah, he's a despicable human.
He doesn't seem like a person, really. He's also psychotic, and he apparently works as some sort of metal trader, like he's a merchant. And yet the show starts and he wheels out this generator that's supposed to power his Christmas lights, which can only be made from nuclear weapons, I have to assume.
I
be much
would
technology
be
in this
careful about what you say about Roger, because you might know him in real life because this show takes place in the year 2027, which is right around the corner. We're going to be shipping some people off to an alien planet in the next 4 years.
That we've never heard of.
Exactly.
Polonian.
You keep calling it Bologna, but that was only in Aliens Next Door. They renamed it in Aliens First Christmas to Zolonia.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Very confusing.
And you got it wrong.
Or maybe they moved to a new planet for Christmas.
Oh, it's a new planet. So essentially what happens in this movie is Roger, the hateful, spiteful man, accidentally destroys all their Christmas decorations. And so he tries to salvage Christmas by buying them family gifts and things like that. But while they're out, the aliens, their neighbors, sneak into their house and try and recreate Christmas with their limited understanding of it. They make them a spine tree opposed to...
terrifying.
Yeah.
Who did they kill?
What type of creature did they kill to have a massive spine like that?
Predators?
Well, actually, Netflix released a movie, Klaus, where their Christmas tree is the spine of a giant fish. This is a reoccurring theme in Christmas movies. Apparently.
This movie inspired that one, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah.
It is inspiring, to say the least.
I am inspired.
Yeah, so he puts on a red outfit
He's
called Santa Clocks, and he wears a clock around his neck, and he uses a garden hoe to ho, ho, ho.
Hilarious misunderstanding. Charming and lovable.
It kind of had like Amelia Bedelia vibes. I don't know if you've ever read those books where she gets everything wrong. She takes everything literally and gets it all wrong all the time.
Amelia Crack-a-Window.
What a teacher thing to say.
Who invited the teacher?
They also make a giant candle.
Yeah.
And I think that would just be a fire hazard. It's like an open flame in the middle of their living room.
And their house is a tree.
Yeah, their house is a tree, so...
They were also going to light the stockings on fire. So there was a few hazardous moments in there.
Similar to Jetsons and the Flintstones, we were picking up on some vibes just around stereotypes they had between husbands and wives and male and female roles.
Like the dad is stupid.
Yeah.
And the mom is like, off the TV. Listen, Charlie.
That's a pretty good impression.
That's what I said.
Christmas is ruined.
Also,
What
what's
I-
up with her hair, though?
Oh.
Did anyone else notice
Her hair is very
It's
tall
real-
and butt
looks
shaped.
like a butt. Like, I don't know what hairstyle they were pulling from, but not a good one.
That's the hairstyle we're going to have in 4 years.
Countdown
Looking
clock.
forward to it. Butt hair.
Okay, this just reminded me of something. Weirdly enough, it was the hair that I noticed about this. When we watched Aliens Next Door, there's a scene where the real estate lady or whatever runs away, and then her hair does this like weird floof thing with the momentum, and then she runs away. And I was like, oh wow, that was surprisingly well animated. And then I looked back on all the things in Aliens Next Christmas, and that same level of care in animation is not there. I'm not sure what happened, but in the re-release, they did not spend nearly as much time making things as looked, I think.
So I find it very interesting. Like, if you look at the end credits, there's only like half a dozen people who made this show. So, for instance, Jerry Reynolds is one of the directors, one of the producers, one of the writers. He's the composer of all the music, and he voices Roger. This really was just a few people's passion projects. So when you think about the fact that 4 people animated this 30-minute show, it does make sense where they've cut corners. There's a few animated things that just go on for way too long, and they just repeat the same animation over and over again, like Roger rolling in the ball in the tube, or the dog jumping up to bite his legs when they're in the tree, or the dog chasing the ball. All of those are just like the same animation on loop over and over and over again. But it's a little bit more forgivable when you realize that it was such a small crew.
You mentioned the composer. On the second watch through, there was this one scene, and the first time I watched it through, I was like, man, this is so long. And it was right at the start. It's when he's like, move the box over here or over here, when he's trying to put down the Christmas decorations. And I felt like I was really impatient when I watched it the first time. Like, wow, I just get this scene over with. But then when I watched it the second time, I realized it's because they used an incredibly short music loop that just goes on and on and on, and it's awful. Listen to it, and you'll see what I mean. I'm not going to.
Rewatch it for a third
You're
time.
thanking me that you got to watch it a second time is what I'm getting from that.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
No.
You experienced it in a new light your second watch through.
They do reuse certain audio bits a lot. Like
Oh, a ton.
when he's about to blow up all the Christmas presents, they go, "Ah, help, turn it off. Ah, help, turn it off. Ah, help, turn it off. Ah, help, turn it off."
Yeah.
That was my favorite part.
I find it charming. I don't know.
Kristin, I get the impression that you're really rooting for this film.
I love it. You won't change my mind.
What was that in one episode, John? You said something like, Kai's words can't hurt me. Or something.
Yeah.
Kristin, what is it that you like about this movie?
I probably just said it's nostalgic. I don't know. There's not much to love, honestly, when you pick it apart.
I thought it was clever that he went shopping in a clothing store to only find out it was actually an alien pet store. I thought that was a lot of fun.
John, you crazy, wonderful old guy.
That's a terrible line.
That's the best line of the whole movie. So feel good.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!
Yeah.
Santa!
You
So
crazy.
it was, as much as you said, like, at the end of the day, we learned that Christmas is just about, I think they say, like, sharing, caring,
Giving.
giving. But for the rest of the film, I feel like what they were trying to convey Christmas was kind of changed from scene to scene.
Santa completely undercuts the message. Like, oh, it doesn't matter about the gifts. I'm just so happy we have such nice neighbors. Santa pulls in. Never mind, these neighbors suck. We've got Santa.
The kid that looked like he could be 2 years old, but he had the voice of a teenage boy going through puberty. The budget for this movie makes sense now.
He's supposedly like 4, I think, canonically.
Canonically. Like this guy knows.
I feel like they said it in the episode.
It was in the DVD's special features.
Yeah. Bonus content only I get access to.
Why do they have that pink... Okay, so there's 2 pets that he buys. What he thinks is a hat and what he thinks is a ball. And they're mortal enemies. So they attack each other. But why do they have both of those pets just lying around in the store?
We didn't see where the hat thing was stored.
Well, what
By
did he
the
have to
ti-
go through to get the hat? He,
That's
like,
right.
opens up a tank?
Yeah. That's where they store all their hats.
Hilarious misunderstanding.
What a classic and just overall perfect movie. 0 fart jokes, 5 stars.
That is our rating scale.
Okay.
I think there were a lot of good things about it. I think it's like a funny concept for the humans to be the aliens. It was funny that, like, when he goes shopping and he's actually at a pet store, but he thinks it's closed. That part was funny. The misunderstanding of the aliens, where they like kind of forgot all the details and really messed. Like, it was a lot of cute little funny things.
I don't know. I think the concept was fine, but the execution was giving me a migraine.
If you were writing Alien's Second Christmas, what would you do?
I mean, this is the part where I say I wouldn't, but I would just try a little bit better, especially with the characters, making them sound more human, make them not sociopaths.
I would lean more into the spine tree body horror.
Personally, more hate. I think more hateful could only improve this.
Like Christmas in Wonderland. Movies where characters hate each other are always the best. Look at Home Alone.
Christmas movies and hate. I don't know what it is.
Can't have one without the other. Yeah, so Harry Christmas to everyone over there. What would you guys do differently if you were making this movie?
Now, it's a little bit out there. Hear me out. I would write the characters as likable. As opposed to what they are now.
You don't like the aliens?
Cholak.
I like
You think-
Cholak and Mabel.
Mothra
they're
is
funny.
fine. I like her.
She's very neighborly.
Doing her best.
She's doing her best. She really cares.
She's green.
She's green.
I love
No, she's just like really considerate of the neighbors, and she's going back to her husband, Charlek, and being like, hey, how can we take care of them, help them? And he's more like, meh, whatever. I'm just a guy who sits on the couch. And I just thought it was a fun dynamic.
Yeah, I would agree. I liked their dynamic.
I wouldn't change a thing personally. I love it.
Okay, so did you guys watch Aliens Next Door first or Aliens First Christmas?
Aliens First Christmas first.
Did it add context watching it after the fact?
Yeah, I filled in a couple of gaps, like in the episode that we don't have nostalgia for, it explains that the house is alive. So then in the Christmas special, when someone says, well, don't go into the house because it's sick, it made a little bit more sense. Stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, it also helped to see that her hair was always butt shaped.
I wouldn't say that any part of this movie was relatable, but there was a part where they were confused why no one was contacting them, and she was like, they just left us here, and we're just here at this crazy planet or whatever. And I was like, okay, that makes more sense that they also don't find this normal. Because in Christmas special, they were kind of missing their traditions, but there's still a sense of like being there was normal for them. So I think that made more sense going back and watching the first episode. They didn't just immediately feel at home.
Emma, do you feel like this is a new Christmas tradition? Will you ever watch this movie again?
No, I don't think so.
Just when I thought we could be friends, Emma.
Oh, actually, that brings up a good point, though. I think we have to determine, since there's so many of us, we can't each have our own rating scale, and we need to have one.
Cookie.
So I think the level of Christmas spirit attained from this movie or something
Oh,
like that.
that's got some value to it. Each person can make up their scale as to what that is. But Emma, how much Christmas spirit do you feel coming out of this show?
I don't know, 5?
Out of 5?
No. Do not say out of what. Just give us a number.
I don't
Don't
know.
explain it at
I
all. You
would
just
say
say
it's a
that.
salt shaker.
One spine tree.
I didn't think that the main point of it was actually Christmas. But if someone were to turn it on, I'd watch it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, don't do this.
All right. Emily, why don't you tell us your feelings? What's the last time you saw this movie?
I don't know, 15 years ago?
Coming back to it now, is it everything you hoped and dreamed?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. I really think the concept is there.
And so when are you going to watch it next?
Next Christmas.
Wow.
What? With who?
You can come over, Emily.
Yeah. Kristen and I will watch it together. I would give it 4 hot chocolate, 2 Christmas trees, a Christmas carol, and a snowy evening.
Oh, you gotta say in a partridge in a pear tree. What's wrong with you?
And a partridge in a pear tree.
A family of peoples in an alien tree.
I just wanted to ask Emily and Kristen what their family's relationship with was it a tradition in their house that they all get together and watch it on Christmas Eve before? Did they only watch it during like December, or was it watched other times of the year? How many
I think
times
it
do you
was
think
just
you remember?
Emily and I
Yeah.
that watched it. Really? I don't think the rest of our family watched it. Just Emily and I watched it a lot. Probably mostly at Christmas time, but anytime really. We loved it.
And I think the VHS tape had your name on it, right?
I think you might say Emond, but it does have a Sharpied name on it. So don't think of stealing our VHS copy.
We will know.
It's still in your brother's basement?
I have it.
Oh,
You do?
Oh, yes, I do.
Kristen, how about you? What's the last time you watched this movie?
Probably roughly the same as Emily, I guess. It's been a long time.
Was it different than you remembered, or just like exactly the same?
Exactly the same. It filled my heart. Yeah, I'm just really happy this happened.
And what's your rating?
Well, I think you all know what I think of it, but I'll give it 12 o'clock out of 12 o'clock on Santa Claus's clock.
Wow.
So,
Ho, ho, ho.
ho, ho, ho. Try and beat that.
Now for the other end of the spectrum. Kylan, how much did you love this movie?
So it's certainly a gingerbread cookie, but it's very burnt, like charcoal.
Like how the cookies were in the movie.
Yeah! It was a gingerbread cookie put through a Zolonian oven.
Yeah, actually, that is going to be your best cookie of the year, I think. For context, in the movie, Fran, the lady with the butt hairdo, was trying to make Christmas cookies on a Zolonian oven, but she didn't know how to make it, and so they turned out blue. So,
And they tasted very bad.
yeah. Do you have anything else you want to say about this?
No?
Okay. You did give it a cookie rating, so... Chance, is this the best movie we've watched in Bullied Nostalgia?
This movie, I think it's equivalent Christmas spirit to having a good ending with meaning that you can latch onto that fills you with Christmas spirit. And then the concept of that ending is ruined by Santa Claus magically appearing and reminding you that consumerism is all that matters.
Yeah, but that's what happens in The Grinch, too. And nobody's complaining about The Grinch. Everyone loves that movie.
I think everyone's seen The Grinch, though.
Yeah, but that literally is the same ending. They stole it.
They stole it from Aliens First Christmas 40 years before Aliens First Christmas came out.
Exactly.
Time travelers. The Zolonian clock works differently.
Santa Claus works in mysterious ways.
It's a time traveler.
Do you want to give it your regular rating, Chance, or just...
Sure, I will give you my regular rating. This movie is a -2.
Hey, that's what I was gonna say.
There are some things you can make fun of. I made fun of some stuff during the movie, but most of the time I was disinterested. There were not very many things I was like, oh yes, I enjoy this about this movie. Most of the time, if I was having enjoyment, it was self-caused through mockery.
So I'm pretty sure that that's the same rating you gave to Land Before Time 4. Do you consider this the same as Land Before Time 4?
I don't consider it the same. It's more like a letter grade. Within a letter grade, you can have a wide percentage of quality. It's still the same letter.
All right, John. What do you think?
I don't know that this movie inspires Christmas spirit in me, but that might be because when I watched it as a kid, I don't think I saved it just for Christmas. I watched it all year round. So this to me is equally Thanksgiving spirit and St. Patrick's Day spirit. So I give it an Easter egg, clover, turkey,
Box of chocolates.
and the others.
A pumpkin.
So yeah, when Emily chooses to rewatch it next year, I don't know that I'll join her.
Because you'll have watched it every other day of the year?
Yeah, you already watched it at Thanksgiving.
Okay, I guess it's my turn. I mean, this movie's not good. I do appreciate that it's a good concept. Whoever said that, it might have been Emily, it might have been Kristin, I don't remember. And actually, I think that that's accurate. Even if it was just an idea for a Christmas special, I think that there is something to be enjoyed here. However, I think for it to be a good Christmas special, without any context, you almost need a longer show than 22 minutes. And I think that's also aggravated by the amount of filler that they use in here to try and pad the runtime. Ultimately, if you were making a good Christmas special out of this concept, it would hopefully be a little less exposition heavy in the opening song. And then they would try and save Christmas various ways. You'd get to see some more of the neighbors' shenanigans to save Christmas and stuff like that. Ultimately, the only takeaway that I absolutely adore about it is the spine tree. That just sits with me so well. It's gruesome and weird.
It's weird because they say we need a spine tree with spine cones. What on earth is a spine cone?
Yeah.
I'm very concerned.
So when you look at the spine tree, it's got hairbrushes and stuff hanging from it. I just wish that they had done like ice cream cones without the ice cream in them or something like that. Because then that would be like a spine cone.
I was imagining more like bundles of like squirrel spines that you stick together and then put on the tree.
I was thinking traffic cones, but you do you.
But it's body horror.
I think that part reminded me of Nightmare Before Christmas a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of this is just Nightmare Before Christmas, but worse.
Okay. Yeah, certainly there are comparisons. Creatures learning about Christmas as this foreign concept, trying to replicate it with gruesome results. And Santa saves the day in the end.
Sort of love the ho 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 too.
And then he ho ho ho.
I appreciate that they say Harry Christmas. Back in the day, Kristin and a friend of ours named Harry had birthdays that were very close to one another. There was one day between their birthdays. And so they would call that day Harry Kristinmas. And I just think of that every time they say Harry Christmas in this movie. I think it's pretty appropriate.
And on that day, they watch Aliens First Christmas.
It's really a movie for all seasons, as John has
That's
announced.
right. All right. Well, I don't have anything to add to that. Oh, I guess I didn't give it my normal rating or whatever. I've watched this twice in the last week, plus the prequel, if you want to call it that. Before that, I wouldn't have watched it since Chance was a toddler. So 15 years is probably pretty close to, it sounds like that's a common denominator. That's probably around the last time I watched it. I am in no hurry to see this movie again. I love the spine tree, but is it worth watching 20 minutes of build-up to see a still frame of a lady with a butt for hair cry in front of a spine tree? Probably not.
Yes, but beg to differ.
Those who are inspired to watch this, it's on YouTube and on the streaming service Tubi, which is free.
Yes. TUBI. Oh, actually, before we close, that is a good reminder. We've been trying to let people know what our next episode is going to be so that they can watch it beforehand. We are going to be doing Alec Baldwin's 90s attempt at a superhero movie, The Shadow. I would say that's about all we have for this one. Sounds like the consensus is this movie is the best thing that's ever happened to Kylan, and the rest of us are going to put up with it for Christmas again next year because he's going to want to watch it so bad.
Yeah, that's what I said throughout this whole thing. Best movie I've ever seen, right?
Praise Beethoven?
This is my thing. That's my thing.
Anyone else have anything they want to say?
Harry
Christmas.
No.
Harry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Look out for Harry Christmases.
Kylan, you crazy, wonderful old guy.
Look out for butt wigs.
Yeah, coming to a store near you by Christmas 2027.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be a lot taller. It adds like an extra foot
An
to
extra
you.
butt.
An extra butt. And depending on how much there is in that trunk, that's
It could be a lot.
Dad, you stoop so low for butt jokes, but not fart jokes?
Hey, there's no farts. They showed that butt on her head plenty of times, but they never did anything with it. Good, I think we're done.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.